Welcome to part 5 of Mastering the CMS Team Initiative. In part 4, we focused on technology and training solutions. We saw how digital platforms make compliance more reliable, how Reliance supports education and competency tracking, and how hospitals like ABC improved outcomes by combining technology and training. We also reviewed the 5-step integration process, which was assessment, configuration, training, implementation, and optimization. Now in part 5, we're going to bring it all together with a final readiness checklist and a review of departmental responsibilities. This is where planning becomes action. So for those joining at this point, my name is Aisha Kulor, and I serve as Chief Nursing Officer for the Institute of Post-Acute Care. I bring with me over 20 years of experience in nursing leadership, regulatory compliance, quality improvement. I have worked with hospitals, nursing homes, and post-acute care providers to prepare for CMS initiatives, and I have seen firsthand how readiness determines success. My role here is to help you translate these requirements into practical steps your hospitals can take. This section is focused on readiness. We'll begin with the final readiness checklist, a concrete list of action items for Q4 of 2025. And then we'll move into departmental readiness, looking at surgical services, nursing, care management, quality, risk management, and information technology. Finally, we'll review resources available to support implementation, including consultants, associations, CMS guidance, and the Reliance platform. By the end of this section, you'll know exactly what needs to be done and who's responsible for doing it. In the last 4 programs, we reviewed the foundation of team, the payment module, surgical procedures, clinical preparation, and the role of technology. Part 5 brings it all together. We'll close with a final readiness checklist highlighting the critical action items hospitals must take to be fully prepared for January 2026. This final session is designed to give you a clear, practical roadmap for success. Final readiness checklist. So as we enter the last quarter of 2025, these are the important readiness steps every hospital must complete. Finalize your staff competencies. Ensure every staff member has completed the required team training and role-specific competencies. Test your documentation workflows. Validate that your electronic health record templates capture every single required data element. And conduct readiness audits. Run a mock survey using the same CMS criteria and close any gaps that are identified. And finally, submit your attestations. Ensure all required CMS attestations are submitted with leadership signing off on them. By completing these steps, hospitals enter 2026 with confidence as well as proof of compliance. So, critical action items for 2025. As we move into the last quarter of 2025, there are 4 critical action areas every hospital must complete before January 2026. And this may be a repeat, but I cannot emphasize it enough. First of all, finalize your staff competencies. By this stage, 100% of staff should have completed the required training on team-specific protocols as well as documentation standards. High risk areas such as wound care, discharge planning, care transitions must receive extra attention. Competency assessments should be conducted as well as documented so your hospital can show proof of readiness to surveyors. Second, test the documentation workflow. Hospitals must perform a comprehensive audit of all documentation templates as well as processes. This is not just a checkbox exercise. It's truly making sure every required element for team compliance is consistently captured. Validation at this point ensures that there are no surprises when real reporting begins. Third, conduct your readiness audits. I will highly recommend you conduct audits using the same CMS criteria before the deadline. These internal reviews are essential for identifying and addressing gaps. Any deficiencies found in workflows, training, or documentation must be corrected immediately to avoid penalties and citations in 2026. And finally, don't forget to submit your CMS attestations. All required regulatory documentation must be submitted on time with leadership signing off on them. And this step is both a regulatory requirement and a declaration of accountability at the highest level of the organization. Together, these 4 actions, finalizing your staff competencies, validating documentation workflows, conducting readiness audits, and submitting attestations, form the foundation of final preparations. So hospitals that complete these steps will be ready to launch confidently into the new model on January 1, 2026. So departmental readiness assessment. Let's talk about departmental readiness. Success under team will require every department to meet specific readiness indicators and close some of the common gaps. So let's start with surgical services. The key readiness indicators here for surgical services will include things like standardized protocols, complete operative documentation, risk management and assessment that are consistent across the department. The most common gaps we see are inconsistent documentation and variation between surgeons. Different styles of charting or missing risk assessments can create real vulnerabilities when surveyors review your electronic health records. Next is your nursing departments or nursing units. Nursing readiness is measured by discharge planning processes, wound care protocols, for example, as well as medication reconciliation. Remember, these are high risk, high visibility area for surveyors. So the most common gaps we again see are delayed discharge planning and incomplete patient education. If a patient leaves your hospital without a good understanding of their wound care or medication regimen, as an example, and readmissions happen, that will reflect directly on your compliance and will impact your reimbursement. Care management is also the third area. Key readiness indicators include post-discharge follow-up processes and care transition documentation. The gaps here often involve insufficient post-discharge monitoring as well as fragmented communication between the hospital and the community providers. When these handoffs are weak, continuity of care breaks down. Let's look at quality and risk management. The readiness indicators are strong data collection systems, performance dashboards, and audit processes that provide timely feedback. The most common gaps we see are reliance on manual data collection as well as delays in sharing results back to the clinical team. So this lag time reduces the ability to intervene before penalties occur. And finally is information technology. Here, the key readiness indicators will be a complete electronic health record template, robust reporting capabilities, and clinical decision support tools that align with the team requirement. The common gaps we see are limited system integration and inadequate reporting tools. When IT can't produce the right reports, compliance becomes reactive instead of proactive. So every department has its own set of responsibility, but they are all interconnected. Team compliance depends on all 5 areas: surgery, nursing, care management, quality, IT, all working together seamlessly. Resources for implementation support. Hospitals don't have to prepare for team alone. There are multiple resources available to support implementation, and using them strategically makes a significant difference. So first you have your CMS Team Hub. This is the official source for guidance documents, frequently asked questions, webinars, and toolkits. It's important that every hospital leadership team monitor this hub on a regular basis because it provides updates directly from CMS on requirements, deadlines, as well as best practices. Second is your QAPI leadership. Your internal quality assurance and performance improvement infrastructure is essential for ongoing compliance. QAPI isn't just a requirement, it's the framework that ties together monitoring, auditing, and corrective action. Hospitals that leverage their Quality Assurance Performance Improvement Committee effectively are better prepared for both survey readiness as well as continuous improvement under team. Third is clinical consultants. These are specialized advisors with expertise in surgical care pathways and team compliance. They can provide targeted education, process redesign, and audit support to close specific gaps. Hospitals that bring in outside expertise often accelerate readiness and avoid costly mistakes. Fourth is your hospital associations. These groups provide peer networking, opportunities to share best practices, and advocacy resources. Associations are also where hospitals can learn from one another. They can learn what's working, what's not, what strategies have been most effective in preparing for team. And finally, the Readiness platform. Readiness offers comprehensive training modules, competency tracking, and documentation tools. What makes Readiness powerful is that it not only delivers staff education, but also provides the reporting and verification needed by surveyors. So Readiness closes the loop between training, practice, as well as compliance. Together, these resources, the CMS Hub, QAPI, consultants, associations, and Readiness, create a strong support system. Hospitals that take advantage of all 5 will be better positioned to succeed under team. So the key takeaways, succeeding under teams. As we close this section, let's highlight the key takeaways for succeeding under teams. First, don't wait. Start early. Hospitals that begin preparation now will have enough time to train staff, adjust processes, and roll out new technology. Delays in your preparation almost always leads to last-minute gaps as well as survey risk. Second is your focus on coordination. Smooth care transitions and teamwork throughout the surgical process are going to be essential. Compliance is not just about what happens in the operating room. It's about how the patient moves through the admission, surgery, discharge, and follow-up care. Coordination across disciplines is what makes outcomes reliable. Third, leverage technology. Digital platforms, including Relias, simplify training, record keeping, and performance tracking. Technology turns compliance into a system, not a guessing game, and provides the data leaders need to demonstrate readiness to CMS. And finally, monitor and adapt. Strong data tracking must be in place, and hospitals should be ready to modify plans according to the results. If audits reveal a weakness in discharge education or wound care protocols, the plan should be adjusted immediately. Team is a continuous process of measurement and improvement. So the message is clear. Start early, prioritize coordination, make full use of technology, and be ready to adapt. Again, hospitals that follow these 4 principles will not only meet CMS requirements, they will improve outcomes and strengthen trust within their communities. Before we close, I want to highlight a few solutions that Relias provides to support hospitals and nursing teams in meeting team requirements and improving patient care. First, the Skin Health and Wound Care Essential Library. This is an evidence-based training resource designed to close the gap and promote early intervention. This ensures staff have consistent, high-quality education on wound care, helps hospitals to improve both patient outcomes and operational efficiency. It also helps prevent complications that could otherwise impact compliance metrics. Second, the platform offers quick reference tools, micro-learning resources such as this program, and streamlined technology to support training and operations. The real value here is consistency. It helps your multidisciplinary teams align around best practices and deliver high quality care in a standardized way. And third is the WCEI certification courses. These advanced courses prepare nurses to manage complex wound care cases with confidence. They also provide pathways to achieve professional certifications through nationally recognized organizations like NACO or ABWM. Certifications not only strengthen the nurse's expertise, but also demonstrates to surveyors and leadership that your hospital is investing in specialized high-level competencies. So together, these solutions, wound care training, the Relias Learning Platform, advanced certification, equip your teams with the tools and education they need to meet compliance requirements and elevate patient care. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to see you in future presentations. Please scan the code, the certification, the code at the bottom of the last PowerPoint to find out more about the resources available to you through Relias. Thank you.